I want to call to order the Arts Commission meeting of January 21, 2021. Palindrome. Anyway, Luis, could you take a roll?
Absolutely. Chair Tosher.
Here.
Commissioner Golden.
Here.
Commissioner Zeringer. Commissioner Harmon.
Here.
Commissioner Gerber.
Here.
Commissioner West.
Here.
And Commissioner Chisholm is not present at the moment.
I'm here.
Oh, Chisholm.
I know, but I'm here too.
Oh, yes. Oh, Chair Tosher, yes. Apologies.
Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I'm going to put everyone on mute until it's your time to speak. I'll raise your hand and I'll call on you unless you're on the agenda, and I'll know that it's your time to speak anyway, and I'll unmute you. So I'm feeling so patriotic today. I think I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm happy. Okay. All right, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands. It stands. One nation.
Yes.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for everybody, for all. Finally, maybe. Okay, now I'm gonna put you on mute.
Need fireworks.
Oh, I've never seen such incredible fireworks.
They were great.
Mute.
Yeah.
We put ourselves on mute.
Yeah, why am I not able to put everybody on
We
mute?
can put ourselves on.
All right, everybody mute yourselves.
Yes.
I'm on mute. Yeah, everyone put yourselves on mute. And now's the time.
Come into the room.
Nigel
has come in.
Hi, Nigel.
Hey, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
No problem. Just mute yourself. We're moving along. You missed the roll call, Pledge of Allegiance. Now we're going to get into public comments. Luis, did we receive any emails?
So as of 5 o'clock, we did not receive any public comments.
Okay, good. Then moving along, we've got two items that are consent items. The first item are the minutes of the November 19th Arts Commission meeting. Do we want to pull that, or are we okay to vote to approve that with the other item? The second item is the 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award nomination, and we are to validate the nomination. So those are our two consent items.
I move to approve the minutes of the whatever meeting it was.
November 19th.
November 19th,
2020.
2020. I move to approve.
A second.
Smitty seconding, and
Can you guys hear me?
yeah.
We can because you're not on mute. You're supposed to mute yourself.
Yeah, my phone is.
But don't mute yourselves yet because you might be, making a motion about the consent items. So the second item is to validate the 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes, and Marcy, can I just jump in there for a second?
Sure.
So I'd just like to make an apology to everybody. I didn't quite complete that process as we went through it. Last year was a bit messy. Everything got messed around. It was my first time, and I do apologize. But if it's all right with everybody, I would just like to ensure that we're unanimous as a committee, that we are in fact pushing forward Barbara Hershey's name as a unanimous Arts Commission recommendation.
Okay, great. So does someone want to make a motion to?
So I'm sorry,
that?
I would just like to go ahead and close out the first motion. We got the motion, we got the second. So if we could just.
Oh, we didn't vote. Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody in favor, just say aye.
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 Perfect. We can move to the second motion.
Okay, and then need a motion to approve the Lifetime Achievement Award.
I will make that motion myself.
And seconding?
And I can second. I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, Linda, thank you.
All
And
in-
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Perfect. Okay.
Thank
Now
you,
everyone,
everybody. I do apologize for that.
no apology necessary, Nigel. All right, we can move on to our items for the day. And let's see. Sammy, do you want to mute yourself? Linda and Robin and Nigel, go on to mute for now. And it's that time of year, every January, we elect new officers. We elect the chair and vice chair for the Arts Commission. Christine?
Well, I would like to nominate Marcy Tosher to continue. And I just want to say a couple things of why I'm renominating or nominating Marcy. And, you know, Marcy came into this without any warning at all. And she took over the chairmanship kind of almost instantaneously, no whatever. And what hit her was, and I'm going to say this very delicately, but a staffing issue, which would have made this difficult for anybody to do. And then as soon as that was resolved, or at the same time that was resolved, COVID hit. And she's had to somehow figure out how to do these Zoom leadership Arts Commission meetings. And I just am giving her a thumbs up, because it would have taxed any of us coming new into a leadership position to have to do it under these circumstances. And I think that she deserves our support for a second year. And our handbook says that chairs, you know, do this for 2 years. So I am nominating Marcy Tosher for 2021 chair.
Thank you. I guess how does
I
this work?
second.
Yeah, do we have a second?
Okay. Okay, I'm going to recuse myself. from
second.
Voting. All right, seconded. And when we vote, I'm going to recuse myself. I feel weird voting for myself.
Okay, so we'll
Okay.
do a roll call for this nomination. So we'll go ahead and begin with Commissioner Chisholm,
Aye.
Commissioner Gerber,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Yes, and I'll vote twice because Marcy's not voting.
Commissioner Zeringer,
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
You didn't call on me.
Oh, my apologies, Commissioner Goldman.
Yes.
Well, thanks, you guys.
I love our commission.
We're going to have fun this year.
Sure.
And then, of course, I need a vice chair.
Mhm.
So I'd like to hear a nomination. Linda? Linda?
I nominate Nigel this year
Excuse me?
for chair and training, vice chair.
A training chair.
I second that.
This has got all the hallmarks of a setup.
We don't do that, Nigel.
Hmm.
Are you declining, Nigel?
No, I'm changing my colours.
Oh, green, blue.
Which one do you like best?
There's a motion and a second for Nigel Chisholm.
Okay,
He's
we have
definitely an artist, I can see, so I think he qualifies.
Okay,
I
Uh,
second Nigel Chisholm.
perfect. Okay, so we'll go.
I second already.
Okay, perfect. Chair Tosher,
Yes.
Commissioner Golden,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeringer,
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon,
Yes.
Commissioner West,
Aye,
Commissioner Gerber,
Yes.
and Commissioner Chisholm.
Thou knows not what one has done. Yes, I'll vote for myself.
ooh,
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Great. Now I'm going to turn it over to Christine Golden, who is going to get us up to date on everything public art.
Well, and I'm going to turn it over to Nigel Chisholm, our new vice chair, and he's going to make a report on some, he's been guardian angeling some public art projects. So Nigel, would you fill everybody in on what you've been up to?
Okay, so there's 3 things that I've been messing around with. The first one is the Matilda her poppy fountain around the back of the vine in that area there, which apparently, when it was designed, had some LED type lights that would change colors, and it hasn't been working ever, to my knowledge. And having owned the business right next to that, I can attest that I've never seen any lights on that thing. However, Greg is now going to have those fixed in the next couple of weeks. So we'll have that as it was designed as a public art project. So I'm on top of that. Secondly, two items at Clough Vista Park. The structure, it's not a statue, an obelisk, maybe, it's not even an obelisk, they're round.
It's
But-
kind of an obelisk, yeah.
Yeah, the obelisky thing. Apparently the top of that is supposed to light up as well. Although it's very difficult for me to know what it's supposed to look like because I never saw it when it was designed. I'm not sure entirely what colors are supposed to be there, although I did go and look at it after dark a couple of weeks ago, and it appeared to be green. However, on that corner, it's very, very bright because in that location, there is also a crosswalk for people. So it's next to impossible to find out what colors it was supposed to be. So I've contacted Greg to check on that also, and he shall do that. I did that today and also in Clough Vista Park, if you've been there, and it's lovely there. I only really went there about a year ago, and it really is a beautiful haven there. It's completely separate from everything else. And when I went there about a year ago, I did notice that the informational placards were very badly damaged. Some of them, there's 4 or 5 of them. They're very badly damaged from the sun, not from anybody damaging them in particular. Apparently, it's the Ojai Valley Land Conservancy that is required to update those. I've been in touch with those people 3 or 4 times over the course of the past 10 days. And as it turns out, they don't want to do anything particularly, or they don't have time to do anything, or they're not entirely sure how to move forward. However, speaking to them yesterday, I discovered that they have to go through the city for whatever reason. So I've also contacted Greg about that today, put 2 other things on his plate with regard to that. OVLC did inform me that from the time of ordering the placards to the time of delivery is 6 months. Now, I don't know what type of business runs a printing business that takes 6 months to deliver stuff, but in my book, it's not good enough. It should take a few days. Now, I don't know if there's special placards that resist the sun, mildew, or whatever, but 6 months is still an extraordinarily long time. So in my message to Greg, I did say that we would like that done, if possible, by June, because if we happen to have tourists rolling around, it would certainly be nice to have them up and running. I've indicated that if there's any communication issues, then they need to come through me so I can help resolve them and get this moving forward. So that is about that on those 3 things. If you have any questions, please ask.
Any questions for Nigel on that? Linda Harmon. Linda.
Yeah, I had 2 comments actually. One was the fountain was lighting up initially, I did see it, but I don't remember it changing colors. I just remember it being lit with the little tiny, they're like little tiny dots, glass dots that are supposed to light up. And the second thing was on the obelisk. If you're talking about that sculpture that I think Linhard did, that has a panel in it that's a translucent stone that it just lights up from within, and it just highlights the colors of the stone from my recollection. So it would be, I think it's basically like an ivory and an amber color inside. So that's my 2 comments.
All right, so that's good for me to know. What I saw was kind of a green type hue coming out of it, but I wasn't sure because if it was due to the foliage around it and the lights reflecting the foliage into it. But it did seem to have a minor glow. I think the issue we're going to have with that is it's just very bright on that corner. It's super bright.
It did light up for some time, and it was noticeable that it was lit. And Linda is correct when she says it had kind of like a taupe pinky orangish glow, because the onyx cap has those colors, and that's fiber optics inside of the onyx cap. And you can call it the East End Guardian Spirit, because it is a piece of public art, and it is called the East End Guardian Spirit. And when we're able to take the public art tour, you will learn why the West End Guardian Spirit is different than the East End Guardian Spirit. And it's a great story, but I'm not
I
going to
cannot
tell you.
wait. I cannot wait. But that's all great information, Linda. Thanks for the Matilda Her Poppy thing. So I'll make sure that's recorded in the manner in which it was. And the East End Guardian Spirit. Now I've got that information, then I'll make sure that returns to the way it's supposed to be too.
I saw Scott's hand up, and I'm going to call, or Smitty's hands up, I'll call on him, and then Linda again. So Scott.
Just a quickie, when we light these things, it would be cool to, I mean, it doesn't have to be a 21 gun salute, but maybe do some sort of press release type thing.
Let
with
there
a
be
little
light.
lightings, with
Let
a
there be
lighting
light.
ceremony, just to maintain some sort of top of mind in the community that these things are going on and their arts commission is working for them.
Great
I'd be
idea.
happy to help with that.
Out of the darkness into the light. Quote
Linda?
from
We can do
Amanda.
better. We
Gorman.
can do better.
Okay,
What,
so
what
if you're not,
Amanda Gorman
being
said.
called on to speak, please put yourselves on mute, and Linda's next.
I was just going to say, we should have all that information. Don't we have a handbook on each piece of public art with the care? That was one of the things they had to do. Remember when that's part of the public art ordinance, isn't it? So they have to have how to take care of the pieces. Don't we have that on the?
A maintenance plan
should.
for Club Vista Park does exist. It would be at city. And I'm leaving it to Nigel whether or not he wants to go so far as to access that. Right now, he's working directly with Greg Grant, and I think he's making terrific progress. These are projects that have been on the back burner for such a long time, and Nigel is making it happen. I'm so grateful for that. And
But I
Scott
was sure.
or Smitty also volunteered to be a public art guardian angel, and you will be getting something to look at. I haven't forgotten.
I just
Linda?
wasn't sure if Nigel knew about the manual. That's the only reason I brought it up, because I know that's really important.
Good to tell him. Okay, so we're going to move on to yet another person to talk for a minute about what she's been working on. That's Marcy, and she's going to talk about what's going on with the Trimp and Sound Arch app and the landscape plan. Marcy.
Well, it's been brought to our attention that rather than, if you've been to the arch, and we have the plaque that we did the year before last, where we have the way you could access the arch through the Wi-Fi system for the arch and select a melody for the arch to play. And then someone noticed, I don't know, maybe several months ago, that you can't access the program, you can't access the Wi-Fi. So we discovered that, or someone, maybe you did, Luis or James Hahn, that someone, what do you call it?
Vandalized.
Yeah, got into it and screwed it up. And so now, the only one really that can fix that part of it to get a different Wi-Fi up and running and all of that is Trimpen himself, who's coming in March. So he's going to work with James Hahn, and they're going to get that up and running again. But in the interim, getting back to that plaque with all the steps, we're going to start the process to get a QR code, get a new plaque, take that plaque off, put a QR code up there so someone can just read the QR code with their phone and get directed in and get taken directly into the program where they can select their song. So that's what the game plan is for that.
Yeah. And then you want to talk about the landscaping at all?
Yeah, the landscaping, I'm working on nudging Greg Grant, and I'll keep nudging.
Coming along. Okay. And we're hoping that we're going to get that done prior to the bowl being back open, because the new landscaping plan will direct traffic away from the arch and away from cluttering up signage in front of the arch. Because for really, since it was installed, people didn't know it was a piece of public art. They didn't know that you could interact with it and it would play a little ditty. They didn't know that whoever's performing at the bowl can actually program it to play lines of their music. So for example, if Paul McCartney came, he could program a few bars of a Paul McCartney song, and people don't even know that of those possibilities. And so we've been working now for 2.5, 3 years on restoring the arch to its full promise as a piece of public art. And it's hard going, but we're getting there, a step at a time. And I see Sammy's hand is up. Sammy, question.
Hi, I'm wondering if there's anything we can do. This was a vandalism thing. If there's anything we can do, when Trimpin comes and looks at it afterwards, how can we make this so that it doesn't happen again? Also, is there a handbook about how to work it that we could just get a little plaque or something and just put it up and just alert people how to, so that the public know when they're walking through it, they know that it's a piece of art now, but how it actually operates.
Right.
So
the handbook is on a bronze plaque that's attached to the base of the arch, and it tells exactly how to access the arch. It's quite lengthy. First, you have to do this, then you have to do that. There's like 6 or 7 steps to get to the app. You've got to open your phone. You got to
Download this.
It worked fine, but it was vandalized. So
It was
what we're
hacked.
looking
Oh,
at,
that was the word.
Instead of having that,
They hacked it.
They hacked it. That's right. Hacked is the right word. So instead of having all that information how to do it, we're going to try to get a new plaque that has a QR code on it. And all you have to do is scan the QR code. You'll go right to the app. So yeah, that's exactly what we're working on. While it worked, it was great. We have pictures of people who just, especially little kids. We have pictures of little kids that are just dancing underneath that arch when they hear it start to sound. And we do call it a sound arch because it's a percussive instrument. Another feature of that arch that people didn't know for all this time is that whoever comes in to play for the music festival can actually use the arch as an accompaniment. People, so we still have we still have a way to go, but we're working on it. And Marcy's the one who's been in charge of that project, and we've made progress.
Absolutely. And if I may chime in just in regards to the security features, James Hunt, our IT technician, is actually working with Trimpin to implement some additional features for preventing this happening in the future. I won't mention what they're doing, so that way people don't get any ideas on how to bypass those security measures. But yes, our IT technician is working with Trimpin directly to make sure that or to prevent this from happening in the future.
Right. And by the way, there was other vandalism that was going on. People were blocking the motion detector because it's triggered by motion detection. And as a result of that, this was, I don't know, Marcy, a couple of years ago, I think, we voted to ask the city to please install a camera. And that was done. So there is a camera that watches the arch. And I remember James Hahn and the police department notifying city a couple of years ago that they had footage of kids messing around with it. So we do have the camera in place as well. And we should probably check and make sure that it's still working at Marcy. Add that to your list. Okay, other pieces that we'll be talking to you about next month after the Thomas Firewood Table. I have asked Nigel to work with me on that. We're waiting for COVID to calm down before we go over there and see what's going on, but we do not think the plaque was ever installed. And speaking of plaques, the Shell station plaque, the permanent plaque, is now up. So Shell has completed its public art requirement. The Capri Hotel is close to being finished. Luis has been in contact with Capri, and I think they have one more Lucky Remington letterbox to install, and then we'll be going over to do an inspection to see if they've erected their plaque, and then we can say that that public art project is completed. I also want to tell you that we think the city is going to put murals on its February 9th agenda. I have asked to go in to speak about that to City Council because it's been a long time since they visited it. And there's information I think that would be good for them to have regarding the mural ordinance. And right now, murals are a hot topic in Ojai, as you might know, due to the very successful mural that was put up on the side of the school district primary care center. So if you haven't seen that mural, I hope that you will go see it. And by the way, that mural also has already or is soon to have QR codes that can be scanned, and then you can learn about the different animals, the different trees on the mural just by scanning the QR codes with your phone. That's all Ray Powers' brainstorm. He did that.
Can I just jump in there for a second?
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt you, but on that
No.
specifically, and I'm sure if Ray's not watching this live, he's going to be watching it when it's recorded. I had asked, why don't we have the Arts Commission recognized on that particular mural? In fact, any arts, public art that goes around town, I think should be recognized. And Marcy, did you ever get a response from Ray about that?
We did. And as I recall, they're adding
Okay.
with gratitude to
It's
the
already
Arts
there.
Commission. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's already up there.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ray.
Yes, thank you, Ray. Good question too, Nigel. And then the last report, and then I'll get into the bulk of the public art matter that we need to discuss tonight, is to let you know that the new developer's handbook is in progress. Luis and I have spent a considerable amount of time working on it, and we think it's in its final stages. And maybe you'll be getting a new copy of that in February. And when you do get it, I do want to walk through it with you, because walking through the developer's handbook will teach you what you need to know when you are voting on private development, public art. So, but tonight, what I really want to do, and please bear with me because I know the public art is taking a lot of time, but it's so important. Most of you know, I'm pretty sure, that the Playhouse was sold finally to a family that I believe their name is the Burgers. And as a result of that, we are attempting to move forward and have a meeting with the Burgers to sign a covenant. It's a privately owned building, so we cannot do the public art unless the owners sign the covenant. That has been forestalled. We had it on our calendar to meet with them, but when the COVID epidemic took off, as it has in the last month, that meeting was canceled. So we hopefully will get an answer between now and the February meeting for all of you as to whether or not they are even willing to look at a covenant and sign a covenant. And we need to do that. And the reason we need to do that is because we have spent several years, I would say starting in about 2008 or 9, there was no money in the public art fund. Well, I shouldn't say no. There was less than $10,000 in the public art fund. And we knew from our public art experts that we needed to build the public art fund to be $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 or more before we could ever do a meaningful public art installation. And it happened. We did that. And we have now enough money to do the Playhouse wall. So 2 years ago, because that fund had built up, the Public Art Committee came before the entire commission and asked the entire commission to brainstorm public art projects that they would like to see done. And we did that at the meeting. We came up with a list, and included on that list were things that Susan Amand had left the Arts Commission, things that she was hoping that someday we would do. So that's what happened historically. And 3 projects rose to the top. One of the 3 projects was Playhouse Wall. Another one, the second project that came up that everybody loved, was to do a sculpture park that would use natural materials. And the third was just to have a sculpture, to find a spot for a sculpture. So the Public Art Committee, 3 people, each one of us took one of those projects and researched it and brought it back to the next Arts Commission, because this was not a public art committee decision. Committees don't make decisions. Committees do the grunt work. We're the workforce. Committees come back with information and the whole commission decides together. That's the Brown Act. So we came back and we did slideshows. We did presentations. I did the presentation on all different kinds of mural applications that are possible, with the Playhouse being in mind. Marcy did research on
Environmental art,
sculpture parks that would use natural material.
environmental art, yeah.
And Michael Addison did research on a sculpture. And we were going to come back at the following meeting to take a vote on which of those three we wanted to pursue. This is a couple years ago already now, okay? But the commission at that time said, no, we don't have to come back. We right now we're going to vote. We all want to do the Playhouse walls. It was unanimous. Well, it wasn't unanimous. One person voted against it, but everyone else was unanimous to do the Playhouse wall. So after that meeting, I met with James Vega, who at the time was the Art Commission liaison, and Khaled Alawar owned the Playhouse at that time. So I talked to Khaled, I met with James, the lawyer put together a covenant, and Khaled was thumbs up. He was 100%, as long as it didn't cost him anything, that he would sign a covenant. So we made a date, and Khaled came with his lovely wife, and we sat down in the conference room with the covenant in hand. And Khaled said in his imitable way, well, there was a family meeting. And he said, the family said, I really can't sign the covenant. I have to wait for the new owners, and the new owners should sign the covenant. And of course, we totally agreed with his position. There was, it was so understandable that he would prefer to wait and not have the city have a covenant as part of the sale of the Playhouse. So when that happened, we came back to the Arts Commission, the Public Art Committee, made that report and said, okay, what do you want to do next? And I put out the idea that maybe we could do one of those smaller projects that Susan Amen so wanted to do. And she talked often about doing utility boxes. And so the commission at the time, many of you were not there, which is why I'm telling this story, because I think it's important for you to know what happened and what your predecessors did and why we are where we are now. So the decision was made that yes, we could do utility boxes because it wouldn't dip too heavily into the amount of money in the Public Art Fund. We wanted to protect that amount of money, that huge amount of money that's sitting there, because we know how expensive these projects are. So we decided that we could do this because it would cost about $6,000 to do the utility boxes. And then in subsequent months, we brought back, I went out and I took photographs of all the utility boxes that I could find in the Ojai City footprint. We did a slideshow, and Linda probably remembers, I'm sure Marcy remembers this. And certain utility boxes were chosen. Then, of course, we had to get permission, blah, blah, blah. But that's how the utility box project got started. And that's why it got started. It was a way to kind of do our first ever public art project, spending public art funds, which are there for that purpose, by doing something smaller. And I will say, I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot doing that project. So it was well worth doing it for not just that reason, but also because the utility boxes are such a great success, just fabulous. So now we're back. Oh, lest that not be enough, during this 2-year time frame, while we're waiting for the Playhouse to be sold, City Council decides that it is going to declare the Playhouse as a historic preservation site. So now, in addition to having a covenant that we have to have signed, we also have to make sure that whatever we do will not interfere with the historic designation, and the building is considered mission revival. So there's another wrinkle now in the whole process. There's a wrinkle. I've spoken informally to Brian Aiken, and he said he feels that historic preservation would support a project as long as it doesn't interfere with the mission revival, ness, quality, preserved quality of the Playhouse. I've been doing some research on that as well, but I don't want to go there. I don't want to talk about what the process is, and it's a very complex, lengthy process, this project, until we have a covenant signed. So tonight I thought I would just bend your ear by letting you know the history and how we got to doing the Playhouse, and that the next step is the covenant. And hopefully in February, we'll be able to come back and tell you whether or not the Burgers are going to sign that covenant and then make a decision. If they say no, then we have to look at another public art project that we might want to do. So questions, and I saw Robin's hand up. So Robin, unmute yourself.
Yeah, I will. Thanks, Christine. So I'm just a little confused. So was there a vote to actually do this, and how much was the cost? Or there was no vote because there was no signing of the covenant?
Fabulous. You tracked your own question. Yes, that's exactly right. We voted to do the project, but we didn't, at this point, it would be rather foolish. I will tell you just one step in this process. The very first step is going to be to hire an art consultant. The art consultant.
What I'm trying to understand is,
Uh-huh.
we already voted to do this, so it is slated to be done, or are we going to have another vote about actually doing the project?
We voted to do the project. The project is voted to be done.
And was there an amount of money allocated to
We
doing
did
it?
not allocate money because before we can do that, we have to get the covenant signed. It's silly for us to proceed down that path unless we know that the owner is going to allow us to do it. Does that make sense to you? That's step one. And then we come back, and the budget is actually not the next step. The next step is hiring an art consultant who will consult with all of us at a commission meeting about what that budget should be, because that's the person that has that expertise. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So anything, I just think we should think more about whatever's done, tying it into environmental concerns. And anything that can be done in paint can be done in solar. And I don't know if people have seen solar panels that are actually, there are murals. And
Wow.
I've been working with and I'm happy to share this link. Maybe send it to you, Louis, and you'll send it out. I guess that's the process. For a group called the Land Art Generator. And, you know, they have one of their projects was doing various murals that are solar panels.
Wow.
Extremely cool. So, you know, that probably wasn't on the table when you voted on this because this is pretty new stuff. But I think we both want to be cutting edge, but more importantly, we really want to be environmentally, you know, forward looking as best we can. So I just want to throw that out there.
Thank you. Thank you. And I've written myself a note to do a little Uncle Google.
I'll send you that.
Would you? Thank you so much. That sounds very exciting. And if the Burgers do not sign the covenant, we'll go back and we'll have a brainstorming session with everybody. And this, what Robin is talking about, is just the kind of things that we hope people will bring forward ideas. The Public Art Committee will do the work and go research it and bring it back to all of you. So does anyone else have any questions about this process? I think I saw Smitty and then Nigel and then Souza. So we'll start with Smitty, Nigel, Souza.
Yes, I just, you know, I think we're all excited, but I wasn't here, but we probably got the cart ahead of the horse before with the Alawars and now with the Burgers. It is private property, and before we spin our wheels and do a whole lot of work and, you know, go into the Burgers with this like vision of what we want, let's recognize that this being private property and they could just nix the whole thing. Right. Let's make sure that our approach to them, let's give them the opportunity to share what their vision is, and then see how we can help rather than going in and trying to be government that's, you know, telling them what art is. So I just want to, just a point of advisement to consider that our approach is very important.
Thank you, Scott. And that is also our approach. And a member from if they say yes, the public art jury will have a representative from the owner, probably one of the burgers themselves. And they would also be consulting with us along the.
Well, yes to, if they say yes to what? A covenant, we just present
we
them,
don't know. We don't know.
no.
We don't know because there's so many steps, including call to artists, requests for proposals, and all of that, what goes into that, the burgers will be part of that. Just
Well, we need to talk, we need to talk to them first. None of us would want someone coming on our property and saying, oh, the city has a vision
no,
for what your property is to the
No, we don't
community.
do it that way. That's not how we work. We don't work
Okay.
that way. Yeah, and next, if they say yes and they want to do this and they want the covenant signed, and I understand they're art advocates, they're art lovers, so we're very hopeful that they're going to go yes, yes. That's the next thing I'll be doing, is letting you know, because this process is very involved and there are many, many steps to it. And a lot of your questions, Scott, will be answered as I go through that process. But to do that now when we don't know if they're going to sign, so I think, Nigel, you were next.
Oh, welcome, Susan. I apologize for not recognizing you earlier. It's great to have you in here, so thanks very much. I learned so much just shutting up and listening to you folks, and every time Robin opens her mouth, I'll hear something. So, Robin, if you wouldn't mind sending me that link as well, I'm sure everybody probably wants it.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. With regard to that wall and the renovations at the Playhouse in general, was there never an art assessment, or was there an art assessment made on those renovations? Or the repairs, not renovation. Well, they are renovations and repairs, I suppose.
So I'm not sure what your question is asking.
Well, when there's rebuilding going on, when there's any changes going on, there's an art assessment, right? There's a public art assessment that goes on with regards to contributing to the public art fund or producing some artwork for the city with everything else.
No.
So was that ever done with that? And if not, why not?
No, because there's an exemption for flooding, so that when reconstruction happens, the ordinance exempts situations like that from qualifying for the public art program. So no, there wasn't anything that they had to contribute to the public art fund or to do a piece of public art.
I see.
Can I answer your question?
Yeah, it's just been a long time, hasn't it? So I'm wondering how long that lasts.
There's a few exceptions in the ordinance, and that's one of them.
Yeah. And with regard to what Smitty said, I mean, is exactly right. But Smitty, to your point, I don't think anybody in this commission is coming in with a government heavy hand, because I don't think we view ourselves as such. It's collaborative. We want them involved, and that is a massive wall. And if they would have put something on themselves, it'd cost them a fortune. So they should be grateful that the Arts Commission is hoping to decorate that wall beautifully for town. And it's the best wall in town. But it occurs to me that there's a federal wall right across the street. that if they don't want
yeah, best wall in town, but it's private. So I just,
Yeah, the federal one isn't.
Yeah, that would be. I'm sure that would be very easy, huh?
Oh, that would have its twists and turns. I just, before Susan goes, I just want to say that this journey I've been on since Barbara Hirsch said to me, "Here, Christine, you're the new public art chair." There hasn't been one project that hasn't had twists and turns, but I've learned so much. I've met so many people, and when I started, the developers in this town were pitching a fit, and some of them came to city council and pitched a fit about having to do public art. And so my overarching goal in taking on this role was to work collaboratively with the developers and to make it easy for them and to make them to help them understand that what they were doing was adding value to their project and also adding value for the public. And we haven't, I shouldn't say this, I'm not superstitious, but so far, so good. And I won't tell my favorite story about Wild Tennis Academy unless you beg me. So Susan's
another time.
Another time. Susan
has a question though.
Yeah, and Robin, I'd love to have that link as well.
I put it,
What? Robin, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Robin.
I put it in the chat,
Fabulous.
in the chat.
Does everyone know how to get to chat at the bottom of your screen?
I will also be happy to go ahead and share the link after this meeting with.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Could you send it in an email, Louis?
Yeah.
Will do.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
So my question is on this covenant, say that, they're overwhelmed with everything they're doing. There's no time limit when they do this. And if they don't want to do a covenant and they do want to do something on their own, all those things are options, or how does that work?
Well, if they want to do something on their own, then they would have to apply through what I hope will be the new mural ordinance. That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I think it's so important to pass it.
Yeah.
If they allow us, if they give us a covenant, then it becomes an Arts Commission project funded by the Public Art Fund. And the
Yeah,
Art
yeah.
Commission,
I would think that they would want to do that. But my other question is, do they have to do that right? Or is there a time limit as to when they can still do that? Say they don't feel ready to sign something.
no, I don't think there's any kind of time limit.
Yeah.
I mean, this project will take at least 2 years from start to
I mean,
complete.
say they don't feel like signing right now. They want to think about it. That's not a problem, right? They can
No,
think about
It's
it.
not a problem. They can think about it.
Yeah. Okay.
But usually, my guess is they're either going to say yes or no, because I think they're aware. I've also discussed this whole matter with James Vega. James is very much aware of what we're doing, and the indication, the feeling I get is that we're probably going to get a yes. Of course, you just never know. We thought we were going to get a yes from Colette, so you just never know.
Do you have their full names, Burgers?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. All I know is Burger or Burgers.
So your other point, you said something about it's a historic mission revival building, correct?
Yeah.
And so the art, I don't know if you know that at the last city council meeting, our new mayor, Betsy Sticks, opened up with a land recognition that we're on Shumash land. And the school board did the same thing the next day. And Julie Tulma spoke about this. And we want to go another step further. We're going to have a sign. We're going to work on this tomorrow. That, there's no sign in Ojai that has the Shumash word for moon. For Ojai, which means moon. So right away, as you're talking about a mural, I'm thinking about a Shumash village type mural, just put that in the ethers.
Well, I think what's important now, I've done a little research on Mission Revival style, and quite frankly, Mission Revival is a blank white stucco wall with nothing on it. And what Brian Aiken, Historical Preservation Society, that's true, has said so far. Smitty, you need to mute yourself. You're going to laugh like that.
A blank white wall, the Arts Commission? Come
Mission
on.
Revival. However, if you look at the front of the Playhouse, it's got that curvature, little design on there. So things like that can be duplicated. A tile application could be done in such a way that it would be Mission Revival. And also there's an art form called trompe-l'oeil, which means fool the eye. And when the building was first erected, it had windows. Way up at the top along the wall, there were windows. And a really good artist who does trompe-l'oeil could actually recreate the way that building looked when it was first erected. So this is what the art consultant will help us with. And I'm going to be inviting Brian Aiken to come to our Arts Commission meetings when the art consultant is there and to give input, because we'll all give input as to what we want in the call to artists. There's a call to artists that goes out that specifies what we're looking for. And this way we won't be caught on the other end with the Historic Preservation Commission saying, after we did all this work, you can't do that. It doesn't fit. So whatever we do has to fit. And quite frankly, a mural that is pictorial probably would not fit in a Mission Revival. That's just the way it's going to go. But we're open. I'm always amazed, like even with the Paint Box project, the things that we got back, the way their creativity, it's very exciting. You just don't know what you're going to get. You want to make it as open as possible, but we would be selecting particular artists and paying them in this case to give us a submission, because a submission has to get into all kinds of technical details as well. So typically for a project like this, the artists that are chosen to submit are given a stipend to work on the proposal. But that's stuff that I'll cover if the covenant is signed. I'll cover all of that for everyone.
Okay, Christine, is your report on public art? Are we through with the public art
Well, we
stuff?
are, but Nigel has his hand up.
Very quickly, the cost for those renditions from artists, as I understand it, is covered in the amount of money that was budgeted for this, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's a legitimate expense, as is
So
the art.
it's not additional funds. It's already there. It's already been accounted for. We don't have to worry about it. What we have to worry about is what we're going to. Yeah, there's just two things we have to worry about. The first one is hoping they sign the covenant, and the second one is what we can put on there, and then figuring that one out after that. Right. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be very, very exciting. And thank you all for your patience. Thank you for listening to the history. And I feel very much now like I can go forward with this, knowing that you're all filled in. And hopefully in February, we'll have some exciting news. So thank you very much.
Okay, next, Linda, if you want to bring us up to date on City Gallery.
Let's try to unmute myself. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Oh, okay, good. Since pandemic, Marcy and I have been speaking with the two artists that are on display now. They have been really sweet about leaving their work up. But at this point, we are going to remove what's on the walls, and they're going to meet with me and we'll do that. And then we'll paint and repair. And then we're going to mount our permanent collection until after the pandemic is over. That'll make sure that the walls aren't blank for the people that work there, and artists won't have their work tied up for an indefinite period of time, because nobody's coming into the building, so it really doesn't make any sense to tie up these artists any further. So that was basically my announcement, was that we would be on hold and for the rest of the year probably. We're thinking till the end of this year.
Linda?
Pardon?
I think we have to take a vote on that.
What?
That's a change in direction. I think we have to all agree that we are not going to, that we're going to do permanent collection there, even temporarily, for the Brown Act purposes.
Louise?
I don't believe that. If it makes you more comfortable, we can do that. But City Gallery has always mounted their own shows, so sure.
Okay. Do we have a motion to move forward with recommendation that Commissioner Harmon has shared?
I so move. I think it's a great idea.
I second.
So we'll begin with a call.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. What is the motion?
The motion is to allow City Gallery to table doing City Gallery exhibitions by artists, and instead hang the part of the permanent collection because of COVID.
Smitty, are you
Yeah.
familiar with the City Gallery?
Yeah, I now I connected. I apologize. Please move on.
Okay, so we'll begin. We'll do the roll call here. Chair Tosher,
Yes.
Commissioner Golden,
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeringer,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerber. I believe that was a yes, but I think you're on mute.
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Chisholm,
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, everyone. Next, I wanted to talk to everyone about the grants that we awarded last year. And Luis got out letters to all of the recipients notifying them of their grant amounts that they were awarded. And Luis, I think you got very positive feedback. Some of them called you and told you they were thrilled.
Yes. We received feedback indicating that the letters had been received. They were very thankful to the commission for sharing those grants or awarding those grants to them. So
Mhm. That's about all. So that's out of our hands now, and hopefully they'll be able to, adapt with COVID regulations. But I think most of their proposals address that issue. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the committee assignments for this year. And first mention, I'm sure you noticed if you read your packet, that we're going to put some committees on hold this year because of COVID and lack of funds because of the situation with the city coffers and not having a lot of incoming revenue. So acquisitions, I don't think we're going to dare ask for money for that. City gallery, museum, if we're not exhibiting anything other than items from our own city-owned permanent collection, I don't think there'll be any expenses for that. Student mentor, it'd be really hard to have students work with artists one-on-one in light of COVID. So I don't think, and we would have had to, yeah, hang on, Sammy. And then arts education, we wanted to bring that back as a topic, as a committee, and talk about some ideas for education, for arts education. So those committees will be on hold until we're able to deal with it when we're back to a normal situation. Sammy.
Really, I just was wondering if we have any sense of, because of the coffers, the city coffers, being straightened right now, do we have any idea of there being a budget next year for the student mentor program? Can we not predict that quite yet?
Yeah, it's a little bit challenging to predict given the circumstance. We hope, everything turns around, especially with the vaccine now available. But it is a little bit challenging to say for the time being. I think it would be best to wait and see how the situation plays out, and then go from there. It is a little bit challenging to indicate at this moment.
Sure.
The thing is, we would have to gear up. We would have to gear up for student mentor right away. Usually, lining up your people and all of that, Sammy. So
no, I wasn't. No, not this year. I meant, meant 2022.
Oh,
I think. I think it's clear that we can't do this year. Yeah. It's, yeah. I don't. In order to do it, you've got to go out and do school visits. School. So
right. Right. No. That's what I meant. I mean, of course, in 2022, we pick it back up, assuming everything goes well and money starts flowing into the city again. Yeah.
That's what I. Yeah.
Linda.
Okay,
yeah, Linda.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out and let everyone know, point information that OSA has canceled their mentor program too this year. Their scholarship program.
Right.
And I talked to the museum, and they are going to just have one. They're launching one exhibit, and it's going to last the rest of the year. So I think everybody's kind of gotten to the point where they realize this is not over anytime soon. So I just wanted to let people know that. Thanks.
Thank you. And Nigel.
Yeah, I think it probably behooves us, and Susan Lewis can speak to it probably more specifically, is that the funds that we would use in 2022 probably emanate from 2021. And so I think we should get ourselves ready for the fact that even though COVID is probably going to be knocked back significantly with the vaccine and whatever this year, so we'll all be able to live a reasonably decent life, possibly after fall, certainly next year, I would hope. Then the funds may still not be there until 2023.
True.
So perhaps Susan could address that real fast, so that we know what we're looking at and we can just plan accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Susan?
Anybody want to speak?
Susan?
I really don't know. I couldn't say, because it's not, I don't think you can really predict for sure. We do have people wanting to come to Ojai, and we don't know when the restrictions will be lifted. So we don't really know. I wouldn't be too optimistic, but I wouldn't be totally pessimistic either.
Well, I think we do know that the 20, I think we do know that the 2022 funds are going to be based on 2021 income, and then some
Yeah.
extrapolation add over what we expect in 22. But simply because it's so random, I think that we probably need to plan on no expansion of the budget next year at all, and no expansion of the budget until 2023 at the earliest. I just think that's a reasonable position to take, and if it looks like we can do better, then we should prepare for that too, but not expect it.
Yeah.
Luis, is the city's fiscal year, it's not a January through December, isn't it? Is it
No,
like
it
a
isn't.
June through June?
No,
So we
correct.
might pick up part of a year, Nigel. We
Yeah,
might pick up part of a year.
Yeah, we don't know.
Correct. Yeah. I'd like to go ahead and echo what Councilmember Francina said. It is a little bit challenging to predict something at this time. I think what would be best is to go ahead and wait a couple months, see how the situation has changed, and then really go from there. I think that would really be the best bet. It is a little bit challenging to go ahead and predict how the future looks.
Yeah, I think it's too early in the year, Nigel. Let's see what happens spring, summer.
Oh, well, I'm not suggesting anything bad's going to happen. I'm just suggesting
Yeah,
that something good may not happen.
yeah,
And so as a commission, we need to plan on that basis, because it's easier to move forward when you have extra than it is to backtrack when you have less. That's the basis of what I'm saying.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Robin?
I just want to say, don't forget the weed tax.
Oh,
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. And you can make plans and with the stipulation that you may not be able to execute it till 2022 or 2023 rather.
true, true. Okay, I'll take one more from Linda.
That's kind of why Marcy and I were talking about putting these committees on hiatus for the time being. We can always bring them back later. And then we can look and see what the city's doing. So
Yeah.
I don't think there's any need to make kind of decisions about 2 years in advance. So,
Right.
and before in the past, I know the city didn't have money for acquisitions for quite a few years, for like 7 years. So it's not like we haven't been down this road before, but we're flexible.
Exactly. Well, then I want to thank you. I wanted to continue with the committee assignments and awards. Nigel, you would be chair of the awards committee, and Linda and I would be on that committee with you. And the budget, Linda and I will get input from all of you, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then Linda and I represent the budget to City Council. Grants, I'll continue as chair with Linda on the committee and Christine.
Excuse me, I think when you're saying Linda, you have a new vice chair now.
Wow, Nigel.
Well, I do apologize for causing a problem.
Nigel,
It's me.
perfect, okay. Public art, Christine will continue as the chair. And Nigel and I are on the committee with Christine. Public relations chair, Robin is chair, and Sammy works with Robin. And then we're going to break off the Arts Ojai website chair and give that to Smitty as a project. So that would come off of your plate, Robin and Sammy. I'm sure that's a relief. And then Smitty will figure out how to what to do with it. I'm thinking that we, for the time being, just make some tweaks to it, post things if we ever need to post something, and then when we are able to, when we get the money to change the platform, supposedly the platform we're using isn't very user friendly. We'll change the platform, and then Smitty, maybe you could train some of other members to post things on it, and it won't. What, Smitty? What? I emailed you, you
um,
never responded, or are you freaking out?
No,
or
I
what?
did respond. I just responded immediately. It said, call me. And
No, you
never
didn't.
did. Yes, I
No.
did. Okay. Well, let me say I'm honored to accept this position, which I assume is what the new guy gets. And does this also include the Facebook page? Is this like online presence, or is this just the website?
Just the website, just the website. Sammy's really good on all the social media stuff.
No.
And no, if I may, I'm actually working with our IT technician, James Hahn, to make the website a lot more user-friendly.
Oh,
Yeah, so we should have that available in the near future. Since the website is so large, it does take a little bit to go ahead and do, but we are making it a little bit more user-friendly. And we'll go ahead and get you login information, Commissioner West, so that you're able to log in and do posts and share information.
Thank you,
Excellent.
Liaison Gomez. You told me that also, Mr. Gomez, you told me that the Facebook is way more active than any of the websites, city and everything you were familiar with, correct?
That is correct. We have noticed that we get a lot of interaction on Facebook.
All right.
That's
So
Smitty,
absence of,
yeah.
yes.
You're going to make
absence
this
of
so
achievement
fantastic.
on the website. I know, I can't even do my own, but thank you for the honor. You,
Well, you can get creative with it, and I guess work with Luis and James Hahn, and they'll show you what to do. And I know right up the top of my head, we should have at least information and the membership of the Arts Commission, because I think we have members that haven't been on for like years.
yes.
So that would be good.
It's like our new federal government. At least we don't have a bunch of. We need to get it to where it's not a lot of lies.
No lies. Okay, so in terms of committees, that's it. And the next thing is I wanted to talk to you all about. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say that kind of relating to what Christine said about just how off track the commission was because of the various things that have happened. So this year, while we've got COVID and while we're kind of putting some programs on hiatus, it's going to allow us the time to really focus on our commission and our structure and get us back on track with a calendar that we adhere to. And along the lines of what Nigel was saying, we really didn't have a precise calendar, and we fell off of it last year. We went off track. So we're going to put ourselves back on track again tonight with this 2021 master calendar that you have in your packet. And we'll talk about on a month by month thing, what's coming up. I'll just go through it quickly. You can read this, and I think it'd be great if you guys could print it out and then put it into your calendars, your personal calendar, so you know what's coming up. But next month, we'll talk about the budget. So in the interim, and in light of the discussions we've had tonight about the finances for the city, I'd like you to, I guess, funnel it through Luis. Get together with your committees, which, by the way, you guys should have periodic committee meetings, to talk about, divvy up tasks, talk about your visions for your committee and your goals and all that, which we'll talk about in a minute anyway. So anyway, next month, we'll talk about the budget and you'll give me input. And then next month, Nigel will talk about awards and talk about what the criteria, the history of the program and the process, and who the nominees are. And he'll open up the list for other recommendations for awardees to be placed on a list. Then in March, we'll also talk about next year. I'm sorry, guys. 5-year goals. The city requires every 2 years is that right, Christine? 2 years? Every 2 years, we have to come up with 5-year goals for the Arts Commission.
Yes, every 2 years.
Every 2 years. And
we're off.
Right. We haven't done it since 2014. So, and it's,
It was when I was chair, right?
it's in the ordinance. It's in city ordinance. So anyway, I figured out a way to break it up. So we, ordinarily would have like a retreat or go over all of this stuff. We'd get together and hash it all out. But because of COVID, we can't meet in person like that. And because of Brown Act, we'd have to discuss it anyway. And the Zoom things are not really conducive, I think. So the best thing to do is we're going to break it up month by month. For instance, February, Nigel, you'll get together with your awards committee and discuss what you want your 5-year goals to be. What do you see happening with the awards program? What are your aspirations for the goals, aspirations for the awards program? And just talk it out, work it through before the February meeting, and then you present it at the February meeting. So we'll need to meet fairly soon about that.
Can I just add something to that, Marcy?
Yeah.
Because the goals really are set by the whole commission. And so what you're doing at the committee level is you're the experts in that field. So you're bringing forward ideas to the rest of the commission to discuss, but the whole commission.
Yeah. No, that's right. It gets
the whole commission has to set the goals.
Right. But with the legwork that the individual committees have done, and then the entire commission discusses that's and all of that and adopts it, because the Arts Commission would be adopting what that committee recommends. So that's February. March, we're talking about the budget again. We're going to review the first draft of the budget requests. And then Nigel, you'll lead a discussion, potential 2021 Lifetime Achievement Award recipients. In March, the website and the PR committees will come forward, get together, and then bring forward your thoughts about it. We'll all discuss it and vet it and add to it or subtract or whatever. And then the Arts Commission will adopt that as part of its goals. April, we will select our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. We'll have a final review of the budget, and then publicity and media, and Smitty, you could post something about our recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Awards. So that's for you guys in April. And then acquisitions and arts education. Well, arts education, Smitty, you're the only one on that committee, right? Oh no, Robin and Nigel. You guys will get together, and here's what's great. You can brainstorm and come up with ideas to do for arts education. The last time something was done, it was a book that on architecture that we did. The city made no money on it. I think you're still sitting with quite a few boxes of that book. In my opinion, I don't think we want to do a book again. Maybe you can get really creative with it and think of something else you could do. Maybe
it seems like you've assigned me, I'm in bold, to be the chair.
Yeah, of the arts education. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. So I'll decide if that's okay.
But what's great is you get really creative with this, Smitty. Like
I know, and it's even greater. I don't have to report till which? Is this May?
You don't have to report until April.
4. I see it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
we'll
then,
have fun.
Yeah,
Thank you, and I look forward to working with Robin and Nigel on that.
Yeah, you guys can come up with some really creative things to do to educate Ojai about art. Yeah, Linda.
I'm getting very confused. Are you going down the list of calendar, or are you talking about 5-year goals?
I'm going down the calendar.
Which are you doing?
I'm doing both. I'm combining them. It's not on your sheet. I added it. So I'm going through month by month, and I'm telling you who will come forward at that meeting, at that particular meeting, with the goals for the particular committee that they're working on. So,
Marcy, can you send us what you added? Because it's
Yeah.
hard to follow since we don't have it on our sheet.
yeah, I'll email everyone.
It is confused.
Yeah. I'll
So,
email everyone what month, the months and what 5-year goal committee assignment, what the,
Chair
when
Tasha,
their reports are due.
Chair Tasha, if you'd like to go ahead and share that information with me, I'd be happy to go ahead and pass it on.
Okay, great, because I don't think you want it with the red. All right, so we finished, then in April, Linda, you'll do acquisitions 5-year goals report. What your goals, what goals?
I'm so confused.
she'll send you a sheet.
Can I say,
We're all confused.
Can I say-
We don't have what she's looking at.
can I, send Jean first, please?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yes,
When we did 5-year goals before, we've only done it once. And when we did it before, we met in a round table with everybody together and we all brought our ideas to the round table. We didn't do it month by month. We met
COVID.
one time. We
COVID,
didn't do anything by month.
right. Well, because of COVID
No,
and by
no.
you're
Yeah,
frozen.
but I'd rather do it all in one meeting than do it in 5. Personally, I mean, if we break it up through the year, it's going to get very confusing.
Well, I think this
That's
year
just a
is
personal opinion.
this is the year we can work on it. This is the year where we've got time to work on it. And by breaking it out, we can focus on each area. Because, some areas might get neglected because haven't thought about it a lot. But, these
Okay.
committees, you've been living with this subject matter. You've been living with acquisitions. Someone's been
Okay.
living, you know what I mean? And we all get to talk about it, together anyway, when it all comes together. We can
Okay.
have a final Zoom where we
Okay.
finalize. Yeah. After we go
Can I
through,
make a request then? If we're going to do it that way,
Yeah.
can we have whoever's presenting that month write out something, send it to Louise so we can read it ahead of time? Because I just think it's going to make meetings really long if we can't look at it
Okay.
ahead of time.
okay,
Can
sure,
we do that?
sure. Yeah, that's a great idea,
Okay.
Linda.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's a great idea. Yeah, and then we can, I think the last one will happen in September. So, and then in October, we have grants, November. Well, we'll figure it out when we can schedule the final meeting about 5-year goals where we combine everything and we hash it through and we endorse what that final, that final 5-year goal plan is for the entire Arts Commission. So, okay, so I just want to continue on real quick. And again, you have this in your packet and I won't spend more time on it because Louise will add the 5-year goals to it. May, we're going to look at the current budget expenditures and see how much money we spent, how much we have left, if anything. We will give the, well, we don't do it, but the City Council will give the Lifetime Achievement Award at their City Council meeting. And the 5-year goals will be presented by City Gallery in the museum. June, we will grants again. We'll look at our paperwork, we'll look at the applications and all of that. And we'll talk about the program goals for grants. And we will, I'll hand out the budget and discuss what city approved, what they finally approved. And the 5-year goals we'll talk about that month grants. July, we will approve a final cost. We'll tweak the grants applications. And so we'll go over that in July. There'll be a press and media release about the program announcing that we're going to be circulating, making available the applications for the grants. And then on the website, Smitty, you'll post the grants applications and the guidelines for the grants. July, Sammy, you'll present what your goals would be for the student mentor program. And then in August, we'll decide if we want to meet or not. But I will be conducting a grants application workshop in any event with anyone that would be interested in that. In September, the grants are usually due, so when we receive them, I hand them out to everyone, and we'll go over what each commissioner's responsibilities are with regard to the grant that they were assigned. And 5-year goals will be presented for public art. October, we have the grants application presentations. We have Hope Fraser. Nigel will start discussing the criteria for Hope Fraser. We'll call the list, put together a list, add to the list wherever it lives, and then we'll the committee, the awards committee, will research names that might not be familiar to everyone, get background information about the nominees for Hope Fraser, and then we bring it back, and in November, and we'll talk about it, and we'll pick our Hope Fraser awardee. And then in December, we'll decide in November if we want to meet in December. So that's it in a nutshell. Did someone have their hand up? No. Okay, then next thing, future agenda items. What would you like me to add for next month? Smitty.
Ojai. Ojai.
Ojai.
Awahi. Souza, I was so happy to hear you say that we don't have I mean, Casita Springs has Johnny Cash with like 3 pictures. We need a Oahe. I don't know if we need an agenda item for that, but I would like to just second my approval that when people enter Ojai, all they see is a population sign, and that should be something we can consider. So maybe there can be some discussion on that next month. I wanted to mention that Liaison Gomez and I discussed last month the Ojai City cable TV station 10, is that correct? Somebody nod, 1110, yeah. I was calling about something else, but as a potential vehicle for our community kind of knowledge of what's going on with the Arts Commission, because it's a visual, it's a multimedia, audio-visual way to express what's going on in Ojai. I'd like to talk about how the Arts Commission can use our little TV station. When you flip by, you go,
Yeah,
we're on that.
Well, that's a great idea,
cool.
and that kind of dovetails with your arts education too, Smitty. Maybe that's something.
Yeah, or just community relations things. Good. Okay. Someone told me that someone dropped a piano off at the gazebo. Did you guys hear about this? I'm looking at Louise.
No,
Luis has that look like, oh my God, the maintenance guys missed that one.
I was going to say, I have not heard of such. Was this done today?
I did hear of that. There is a I don't want to call it a counterculture movement, but I love it. There is a movement that came off of someone who'd seen pianos in Santa Barbara on State Street and wanted to put pianos in Ojai, that any piano player walking by could sit down and play the piano. Now, the commission doesn't have anything to do with that, but other than give a thumbs up.
I would suggest a agenda item that the commission does have something to do with that.
Mm-hmm. I think a couple of years ago, we discussed
okay, here's what happened. A guy asked me who played it, and he said it was actually kind of nice. He asked me if I would tune it, because I tune pianos. I said, well, let me at least bring it up, because I assume that otherwise Luis's people would declare it trash and it's going to go to the landfill because it's hard to get rid of pianos. But maybe that's an agenda item, or maybe it's trash.
If you want to stop it from going to the landfill, you have to let Public Works know. Just like at one point, somebody was putting beavers up in Libby Park. Ray Serino and others were putting up little statuettes of beavers. And as soon as they let Public Works know that this was something they did, Public Works left it alone. Before they let Public Works know, Public Works was removing them. So
Yes.
yeah.
Well,
So
perhaps a piano is a little bit more artistic than a beaver.
yeah.
Well, and I think this would be a city thing too, Souza. I mean, we don't have the authority to permit pianos to be displayed in public places. But if the city were permitting something like this, maybe somehow the Arts Commission could get involved with encouraging artists to, I saw them when I was in Montreal, I think, or Quebec City, and then somewhere else. Anyway, where the wildly painted, the pianos were just wildly painted.
Yeah.
It was really cool, you know?
And
So-
actually were tuned and sounded good.
Discuss
So
it.
may this be an
Yeah,
agenda
I'll put
item?
it on the agenda. We can talk it through. Yeah, but I
Okay.
think that the threshold question is, what's city's position? What would the city's position be on something like this?
Of course. Well, let's get it on the agenda.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
we're going to talk now if you want to call on all these hands.
Yes, the city doesn't have a position on it yet that I know
We
of.
can't talk now because it wasn't agendized. We have
Yeah.
to put it on the agenda.
Right, it's going on the agenda. Yeah,
Yeah, without
is-
without agenda, it just becomes trash. But I might argue it's better than trash. Our Rotary Club of Ojai, which I was a member for 20 years, and is a wonderful steward of our community services and vocational services here in the Valley. And I just wanted, as an agenda item, to propose. My ex-wife Betsy is going to be the president next. It starts in June on their fiscal year, and they spend over $120,000 a year in community service and vocational service. And I don't know if we need an agenda item for that, but I think it would be a nice way. Whenever we're looking for money to do some things, sometimes they come to us, and it might be an opportunity for us to come to them, like we
Okay,
might
excellent.
to a
All right,
private property
great.
owner who has something we want to. Okay. And the last
Great.
thing, it just popped up when I was thinking, is
well, that's our
COVID
whole
art.
agenda. What?
Last thing is COVID art.
COVID.
You know, if we can get ahead of this, you know, our artists are certainly grinding on this right now. So if at least we put in our mind that we have an opportunity to anchor this place in time, in our place in this valley, to recognize how the world will. We have no idea how the world will change now, but it will change, and our valley will change. And I just maybe I just offer this as an overarching theme to our commission to consider that when we look at all the things that are on our kind of aesthetic agenda.
Okay.
That's it.
Great. You're prolific tonight, Smitty. Okay, I'll do Robin and then Linda.
Just quickly on the pianos, I think it squarely falls on us as, I mean, the Arts Commission is supposed to advise the city council on anything involving the arts. Just because the people got ahead of the commission, so what? Good for them. So I think we absolutely have to discuss it and advise the council. It's not the other way around. I would say on that. But I would say on the last thing you said, Smitty, I think goes to what I would like to see on the agenda, which is talk about our values, because I really think the value of values around connecting environmental concerns for the environment. And I think that sweeps in the pandemic, because we know the pandemic happened because of what we've been doing to the environment. That, you know, just discussing what our values as a commission are now in this time going forward and for everything that we're going to do, more of an overarching discussion.
Okay. Linda and then Nigel. Linda.
I just wanted to say, in terms of the COVID thing, one of our grants is specifically art about COVID. if you recall, the one that's taking place at the center. That artist.
Oh, the environmental art, yeah, the environmental, the six feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
exactly what you're talking about. So
Right,
that's
right.
already happening. So
Right. Okay, Nigel.
Yeah, I think it might be wise for us to have a conversation about private use of public art, given what's happened over the past month.
Do you define what you mean by
Right.
Private commercial use of public art by the artist.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking.
Yeah, we can talk about that and what our position would be on that, and our policy position, and how wise that would be, and all of that. We can have that discussion next time. Yeah.
With regard to the piano, love it. I think we should advise the city, but in the end, the city is going to be the one that makes the decision, because there's going to be all sorts of insurance issues with it. You know, somebody's going to cut their finger on a piano key and see the city.
Yeah.
So, and then there's the upkeep of it. But I've been all over the world. I've seen them. I stop and I watch when people are on the piano, and I love it. And I think I would love them all over the place. But the city is going to be the final arbiter. But I do agree with Smitty and Linda that we do have a position, and we should take a position on it, as a matter of fact.
Right. But we can't really talk about it now because it's not on the agenda.
Next month it is.
Next month, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items from the suggestions that you all gave tonight. Really good ideas. Yeah. Louise, would you like to talk to us about your report?
Sure.
Liaison report?
So we'll begin with projects subject to public art. So it looks like the El Roblar Hotel, it looks like it's going to go ahead and qualify for public art. Currently, the project is pending review by the Planning Commission, but they are going to be doing the renovation of the main building, including the rooms. It looks like it's going to be 50 rooms that are going to be renovating, along with, and in those rooms.
Excuse me, somebody's not on mute, and it's really important. I need to hear what Louise is saying, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Louise, I'm sorry, I couldn't understand the interference.
Sure. So what I mentioned is that El Roblar Hotel looks like it's going to go ahead and qualify for public or project subject to public art. They are renovating their main building, including the rooms. It's going to be 50 rooms in total. 19 of them are bungalows, and 31 are rooms. And if memory serves me right, they're also going to be doing some renovation with a pool as well. So that project is currently pending the Planning Commission review. And then in addition to that, we have received the fee from the Ojai Valley Inn. So that actually takes me into my next subject, which is the Public Art Fund. So we did receive that fee from the Ojai Valley Inn. In addition to that, and that was a total of $8,874.39. In addition to that, the other change to the Public Art Fund was a payment to the artist for the Paint Box project. So for the Paint Box project itself, we have a remaining balance of $2,050. However, there is going to be another deduction from that, and that's going to be for the plaques. The plaques have been ordered, and we hope that we get them here before the end of the month, so that way they can be installed next to the art pieces themselves. Now, we did get permission from the owners of El Roblar, so we will be able to place a plaque next to the paint box that Leslie Marcus painted. So we will have plaques next to all the boxes there. Other than that, that is pretty much it as far as my report goes.
Thank you, Louise. Do we have any idea, has the building official let me give it up as a negative question. The building official has not figured an allocation for El Roblar?
Not at this point, no.
Thank you.
Okay. So if anyone we'll go commissioner by commissioner for any comments that you might have. Nigel, you have to leave, so why don't you go ahead? You need to unmute. Wait.
There you go. Yeah, I've got 8 minutes left and 10 minutes left, or 10% power left on my phone. But regardless of that, we do have commissioners on this commission that are involved in the arts on a very visceral level. Robin, we saw on TV last week. And if you want to see me and Smitty do something, head to my Facebook page and see what we did over the last 3 days. I am not suggesting you do this as an official commission member, because it is somewhat political in nature. But if you'd like to have a bit of a laugh and see me and Smitty have some fun, then head along to my Facebook page and have a look at that. And if you're out in the ether, you might enjoy it too. And if you don't go. Over and above that, good meeting tonight. Thanks very much, everybody. I accept the nomination with grace and humility, and hopefully I'll serve that role quite well. I would say you can go and get these ring lights, of which I've got one right now on Amazon. They cost about $25, and the one that I got, it's got a table setting, which you can do right now. Then it's got one that goes up to 6 foot. You got all sorts of colored lights. They're awesome. And I'm looking at every one of you now, and I'm struggling to see most of your faces. I know that Smitty has one. And
but I bought this, Nigel.
It's in the wrong place, Smitty. You know as well as I do. And Marcy, you look fantastic tonight.
I bought this thing.
Yeah, I can't see your face anymore. These ring lights are brilliant. They cost next to nothing. I'd encourage you all to go and get one. And if you can't, it's terrible.
A ring light, yeah.
Christine, that's awful. But they're brilliant. They cost next to nothing, and they're fabulous. So, and then if we can do that, it just looks better for everybody. We can see what people are doing and saying. So on top of that, I'm about done. I'll stay on top of the public.
Would you send the information on what it is you're talking about? Would you email all?
Yeah, I'll send the link to everybody.
Oh, that's a huge one! Wow.
Yeah, I'll send the link. They arrive in 2 days from Amazon.
That's huge. That light.
It's
wow.
It gets all different colors, but nonetheless, it's in front of me. Nonetheless, I forgot what I was going to say. So thank you very much for your patience.
Right. Thank you.
I'm gonna check out in 3 or 4 minutes here.
All right. Thank you, Nigel.
And I just want to also say, Luis, thank you, Luis. You continue to be awesome.
He's incredible.
And Susan, I'm so glad.
He's our secret weapon. He's our secret weapon.
And Susan, I'm going to flip on my phone here and see if you're still there. You are. I'm so glad that you got some support on the council. So.
Yeah.
On the what?
On the council.
So
you're supportive of the Arts Commission.
So thank you very much for that.
Robin,
You're welcome.
comment. Do you have a comment to share?
No, except to let Nigel know that some of us might not want to be crystal clear. Only when I'm getting paid do I go there.
Okay, Smitty.
No, I got nothing.
Nothing, honey. Souza, do you want to enlighten us about anything that we should know about that's happening at City Council?
What about Sammy and, is it my turn?
I'm just randomly picking. Yeah, I'm just.
Well, first of all, even though pianos are not on your agenda, nothing wrong with Louise and I telling Greg Grant if there's a random piano to wait until it's on your agenda to decide what to do, right? We can do that.
Thank you, Susan. That's sweet.
Oh.
And then I wanted to know if any of you can recommend, you can maybe email me someone. We need to find, Betsy and I don't know anyone, we don't know who makes signs in Ojai, because we need someone to make a sign. The first sign that we have in mind will be on City Hall property, because that way we don't have to get permission from Caltrans and all of that. So if you can recommend someone that can make a sign with the Shumash word for Ojai, which Smitty pronounced very nicely.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
Well, Susan, I think the first thing you need to figure out on that is what type of sign you want. What media?
We don't know yet. We don't know anything. about.
But Nigel's right. First you wanna determine exactly what you want. Do you want a plaque? Do you want?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Got metal
No, no,
or
no.
wood or
I
something.
want it to look like it's Shumash art.
So you want wood?
Yeah, it
about
probably goes where the Rotary Park is in that area.
Susan, call me and talk.
Are we just all talking now?
Call me
We're
or
just talking.
email
Hey,
me.
Would
guys.
suggest Gail.
You've
Linda,
already helped
Linda.
me. You've already helped me.
Okay, Linda.
Thank you. I would suggest Kale Starbird. She does beautiful signs.
Yes,
She
I
does
love
carvings,
it.
and she's an artist.
Thank you. She'd be perfect. I know she'd
Yeah.
be great. Yeah. Kale, I'll call her. Yeah.
Okay, do you
Yeah.
have a comment above and beyond your recommendation, Linda?
Me?
Yeah,
Not
A
really.
comment, a
Just I
comment.
hope we can. That agenda. That worries me. The agenda being 5 or 6 items. I really think we need to keep the meetings to at least I think an hour is plenty, but if an hour and a half for grants or something. But 5 or 6 items is a little scary to me to add. That's it.
okay.
Can I just jump in here because I've got to get out of here? But it occurs to me, and I don't know if I'm accurate, Luis can tell us the truth of this one, but if there's going to be some public art on city property, it probably has to go out to tender unless it's donated. Luis?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Can
Right.
you repeat that
But
again?
if there's going to be some Shumash art of some description that Susan and Betsy would like, and I would be very supportive of that, then it probably would have to go out to public tender if it's going to be paid for. If it's a donation, it's probably fine. Luis, where are we at on
Yeah,
that?
I'm gonna be asking James those questions. Yeah, we're just at the very beginning. It's an idea. We're gonna walk around the property tomorrow, look at possible places, but I'm gonna ask James in the morning before we do that. I have a lot of questions, just exactly what you're saying, Nigel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
On that, good
Yeah,
night, everybody. I gotta run.
my intention when I brought this up was just that we all put it in our kind of heads. So when we think about stuff, what a beautiful idea that's lacking right now.
Okay. Sammy, do you have a comment you'd like to share? Unmute yourself. I guess the answer is no.
She said no.
No.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. No.
Oh, I like your kitchen.
Mhm.
I like your kitchen, Sammy. Okay, Christine.
Oh, I just want to say this is probably one of the most fun Arts Commission meetings we've had in a long time. Happy New Year, everybody. And I'll remind Linda that in the old days, we met for 3 hours because we had so much work to do. So, once a month, we're going to meet. It's going to take some time.
All right, and thank you, Souza.
Thank you. You're a great.
Thank you, Susan.
Of your commission.
All right, thank you, everybody, for being patient and contributing wonderful ideas. And
Thank you, Marcy.
next
Look at the
month,
size of my
and
hands.
Luis
Can
will
you
get
see how
out
big my
the,
hands are, Susan?
Thank you, Susan, for coming.
yes,
Oh, I
it's
wouldn't
great.
miss that. It's so much fun.
We're fun.
Yeah.
Crazy. But
All
fun.
right, good night, all. Good night, all.
Good night.
Sammy, don't be lugging any more rocks around.